Yo, family, what's good? Welcome back once again to another daily Casper crypto live stream. The markets right now are seeing quite a lot of volatility, some consolidation. We're seeing the market go down a little bit, which, truth be told, not too surprising to be expected. We spoke about the potential scenario playing out yesterday, and even the Casper price action as well happened exactly as we had foretold. The price prediction has come down, and those who decided to take into account what we spoke about yesterday and take a short trade, you would have filled that out completely. We'll get into that in a very short moment. Today's stream is going to be an interesting one. Those I'm sure have already heard the news. We have seen Sui announced earlier that their network has stalled, congestion kind of went down, if you will, for over 3 hours. We're going to get into that a bit more throughout the stream. This is proof why, this is a very common reoccurrence you see with effectively every major blockchain in this space, be it Ethereum, Solana, Bitcoin, XRP, Sui, and more. Even Hyperliquid, which has been so-called the up-and-coming one, has had their own share of issues. The only protocol, to my knowledge, that has not had a single issue of congestion or going down is Casper since 10 blocks per second, because there was an issue around the launch of KYC 20 when Casper was still on 1 BPS, although that wasn't really Casper's fault. It was not Casper's fault at all for that matter. It was a third party. I think it was Catware Wallet that was actually at fault for that. But since 10 BBS has gone live, since 2025, 5th of May, there has not been a single issue of congestion or bottlenecking of Casper. That is more impressive than people give it credit for, and we've got alpha documentation to also signify why it's so important and why this could correlate to adoption for Casper. As always, family, welcome back once more. If you're doing very, very well today on this fine Thursday. As you look at the market chart right now, Bitcoin currently down 1.7% on the daily time frame, valued at $95,293. We did see Bitcoin pretty much touch this level of resistance here around the 98k level and was unable to surpass that. This is on the hourly time frame. We go to the daily right now. We can see Bitcoin did just about tap that before, seeing some pushback, and now the sellers, the short traders are winning, and therefore it's likely we'll see Bitcoin continue this passion, maybe going back down to touch the up level of the support here of 94k now. What's crucially important though is that Bitcoin had been struggling, since November to surpass 94k. How many times did we tap this level and get rejected? We saw a breakout 2-3 days ago. So this in itself is positive. Hopefully this will correlate to a new step in Bitcoin's market movement, potentially meaning that Bitcoin will continue to trade between this region, continue to try and surpass this level, and once it does, I believe 100k Bitcoin is only on the horizon. Now, if you look at Casper's market chart, due to Bitcoin showing weakness and the market in general showing weakness right now, we can see Octa down 9%, Sui down 3.8%, Ondu down 6%, you've got Quant 1%, HBAR 5.6%, Algorand, go on and further and so on and so forth. Casper right now was down a little bit earlier today, but it's currently down 5.41% on the daily time frame, valued at 4.53 cents. Now, I made a video, going to be going live later on, currently editing it. On the hourly time frame, take a look. We spoke about it like nearing the middle end of yesterday's live stream. Those who, of course not financial advice, but those who had taken in what we spoke about, you would have potentially, well, not even potentially, you would have made a full beneficial trade yesterday. We spoke about the fact that Casper was struggling to really surpass and hold this level of resistance here around 4.83 cents around here. And as such, as you go to, this is where the day started around here, around the zone right here. So as we were struggling to break above that and we did not finish the trading day within that zone, it was a lot more likely we see the market and the price of Casper start reversing, coming back down, which therefore means the next target would have been around 4.55 cents. The support here, which we can see Casper came down, so I consolidating around here for about 5, 6, 7 hours. And then we saw the price continue to come down, and then we saw just 2 or 3 hours ago the price come down significantly, all the way down to 4.45 cents. So actually a whole 0.001 lower than I had originally anticipated. But at the same time, one thing that's very, very important for those who do decide they want to trade, when you create a trading strategy and you have your zones, never, ever, ever fall and give in to greed. the strategies and the rules that you align for yourself, they can change and mature over time, but you should live and breathe by these rules. So something that I had mentioned is that if we don't manage to surpass and hold this level here, we're going to probably see Casper come back down to the support down here, which we did. What I mentioned in the video I'm going to post in a moment or after this stream, and something that I would have highlighted and I'm going to highlight in future streams from this point forward as well, is when Casper's coming down, I want to look for potential take profit zones. So at least I'm securing some of the profit. So in that instance, I would have seen, looking at the market for Casper, what we've seen previously, I was like, okay, there's quite obvious levels of support around the, I'd say the 4.65, because I want to make some bigger, I mean, there are multiple zones going down, but I would have looked at 4.65, so around here. And then look also at 4.60 around here, and then also at the very top level of the support band here at 4.55. So I would have had 3 take profit zones there, and all of them would have filled in. And of course, some may think, oh, you could have made more money, but that's the greed given him. Yes, in hindsight, if I'd left the moon back or didn't take any profit or whatnot, I could have, in hindsight, maximized and got a potential 7% with a 10x leverage. That's 70% gain. That's good. 70% is a very, very good trade. You can't go wrong with making 70%. But at the same time, that is, think about the best case scenario. Realistically speaking, trading never goes that way. But I would have made profit. Would have set up the trade here, got to take profit around here. So maybe taking a small portion there, maybe just 30% of the actual bag that I put in. Then another one here, and then the full bag would have come out for me around here. So while I would have minimized the amount of gains I could have made in the end, I made significant gains, and I guaranteed my earnings, and I got out completely. And this profit here, I'm not going to worry about this in the short term. I made my gains. I could be happy with the gains that I made, and the strategy that I had worked out exactly as intended. I looked at the zones, I analyzed the charts. I went from one top level all the way down to the bottom here, and I made my money. That's the sort of stuff that we try to teach also in the VIP community, especially with our experienced trader, C Crypto. He goes through these sort of market analysis every single week in our executive roundtables, and he will also provide extra help if you reach out to him as well. So if you want to find out more in regard to trading research and understand the market dynamics, we've even got videos and tutorials on in the VIP as well. You can join for free for a 7-day free trial or for a month through BYDFI, our affiliate exchange, and help analyze the markets, becoming better prepared, whether you use it for trading or for just to find better DCA levels, because that's also what we do in there. We don't always do this for trading elements. We can understand that with Casper not being able to surpass this level here, coming back down to 4.5 seemed inevitable. So we would have then waited, put in a buy order around this level here, it would have filled in. And while we have come down, for me, Casper long term is going to do fantastic. That's another great DCA opportunity, and we'll see that money come through going forward. Now, if you want any more chart analysis, I could do so, and we'll get through it more. So this for me, again, we spoke about yesterday's stream, played out exactly as we intended, so that would have been a very, very positive trade, and we can only be happy about that. While the price of Casper is down right now, it does suck. These are opportunities. I don't see the price of Casper being down 5% as a bad thing. I see it's an opportunity that I had taken, made gains on, and also got a better DCA bag as well. Apparently, I'm a bit quiet, which is interesting. I don't know why. Let me see if I can adjust the mic or something. It's at 100%, so I have no idea why the mic is being dodgy. I'll just try and speak a little bit louder and make sure I fix that for tomorrow if possible. But my mic is at full volume, so I don't know why it's been so quiet. Is there wait? Oh, maybe that, does that help? Yes or no, does that help? That might have helped. If not, then I will make sure to speak louder and fix it for the next stream. The video should be fine though, because I have upped the audio in the software, so that'll sort that. But anyways, that's currently my perception of the Casper and the market chart right now. The gains we would have made taking that short trade look to be a bit closer. Okay, cool. I'm closer now. That's great. So that's good. And now we've got a good DCA level here at around 4.55. And now we're hoping to see Casper make a rebound off the level here. If we can finish the trading day above the support zone here, then Casper will likely end up sitting around this level here, following Bitcoin, and then making that push back up here to the zone once again. Now, let's get into the topic of today's stream, and then we'll welcome back once more everyone to the channel once again. So to start off with the big news, Coin Bureau reposted this based on what we saw from Sui themselves. Sui said, Sui Mainnet is currently experiencing a network stall, and the Sui core team is actively working on a solution. Be aware that dApps such as Slush and Sui Scan may not be available, and transactions may be slow or temporarily unable to process at this time. Updates will be shared as soon as they are available. Now, I've not seen any updates from them just yet, apart from promoting this new opportunity, which, great timing, you ask me. Your network's experiencing issues and you're talking about promoting other opportunities. I guess never sleeps, right? But we continue on as we do. Either way, we can see right here, or actually saying that is a day. That was actually a day ago now. I did not properly clock that. But even then we can see, okay, look, back to fully operational here. So, okay, there had been an update. Fair enough. But either way, back to fully operational. Either way, there was still an issue. And that's the premise that we're trying to latch on for this stream. As we can see, from Casper Teacher here, just in Sui network is down. That's what happens when you're not proof of work. Stay patient, stack Litra. It's more important to stay in Casper if you want money, DeFi, or safety. And then equally, you got Casper Media here saying this is why Casper is the future. Capital highlights here as well. Why make a proof of work coin like Casper in the wild and let others profit by mining it when you could just have our own servers and control the entire thing? Well, that's exactly why. This is an inherent thing that happens with pretty much every project. I am yet to see a proof of stake project that's been built, a blockchain that has stayed up continuously and had no issues. Haven't seen it yet. Sui was perceived as the new Solana when it was first launched. 2021? No, tell a liar. 2022. Let me see what the market chart says. Yeah, oh, sorry. It was even later than that, 2023-ish time. But when Sui launched, in the bear cycle, if you will, it was perceived as a new Solana, and it performed exceptionally well. From the dip, if you got at the very, very bottom, you saw potential 14x. So you did very, very well. And in a sense, it is the new Solana, because Solana equally is fast, but also has issues of congestion and also goes down. So it is definitely the new Solana, for better or for worse. But it's not for better. Here is something that I put in the video that's going to be coming out later. And those in the VIP would also have seen this document already. This is from the payments website, but it's talking regarding to BNY Mellon. BNY Mellon, one of the oldest, most established, biggest legacy banks. And apparently, from my research, they're trying to transact, I think it's like $58 trillion on chain. That's their goal. This whole article, I'm not going to go to the whole in-depth part of it, but what's important is that they are trying to look towards potential atomic settlements alongside other tokenized assets, right? That's the very, very critically important part of this article. They're ultimately, BNY Mellon right now, they are ultimately proving right now that the experimental phase of blockchain is dead. They don't want to experiment anymore. They want to have it at their fingertips. They want to use blockchain because they realize that the legacy banking system, the whole T+2, which is like 2 days waiting time for payments, if you have that, you're going to become obsolete. You're dead. You can't have that. You need to have instantaneous payments as quickly as snapping your fingers, as fast as light, at the speed of light, at the speed of the internet. You need to have payments coming through that quickly in this new era, or you're not going to survive. So this article here, all the information here that I've showed to my VIPs already, it's fundamental proof that institutions, they aren't looking for your hype, the next great thing that just, the headline. They don't look for that. They're looking for actual infrastructure that works, high volatility infrastructure. Sui was perceived as that, but it has issues. What they want more than just high volatility, fast finality infrastructure is one that is reliable. Casper has not had an issue since launch of 10 BPS. It's had no congestion, no bottleneck, nothing. This is crucially important. Very, very important, because they want to be able to move these institutional tokenized assets at scale very, very quickly, also while retaining as much cost as possible, saving money. With Casper, with 10 BPS, with Warp Core, you'll be able to have insanely quick finality, very cheap transaction fees, while the benefit that no other chain can attest to, retaining your own self-sovereignty, because you are decentralized. That is the significance of Casper's protocol that no other chain can claim. They might try to, saying we're DeFi, but they're not. Not in the legitimate sense that Casper is, especially with the Warp Core help of KRI. Banks and institutions and anyone retains their own self-sovereignty by transacting on Casper and staying compliant with the local laws. And then you get the benefit that Casper has against every chain, which is no bottlenecks. So it's reliable. Banks want fast, cheap, reliable. That's the three things they're looking for right now. Casper only fits that bill. Sui doesn't. Is Sui reliable? That's not reliable. Is Ethereum reliable? Solana? XRP? Now, in saying that, these are further along, further developed, better in the eyes of the institutions. So they will still get adopted. They'll still get used. We're not ignorant to that. We know that's going to happen. We can't be ignorant to that. Otherwise, then what's the point? We're here to make money. We're here to analyze how the market's going to move, what they're going to invest into. They are very bullish on Solana right now because they see the speed of it. That's great. They'll probably end up using it. When something evidently better comes out and it's been battle tested enough, that's when they'll switch. That's why stablecoins are so very important on Casper. Once that comes on board, which we had heard in the blockchain banter YouTube space that me and Pumps did on Tuesday, stablecoins are coming to Casplex and to IGRA this quarter, in the next 2 months, therefore. That comes on board, you then get your proof of concept. You get the evidence there that stablecoins can run on Casper, fast finality, very quick, very cheap transactions, reliable, not going down, touch wood, hopefully. And then, of course, retaining your own self-sovereignty, so you're decentralized as well. Once there's proof there, endgame. That's one big reason why stablecoins are so very important on Casper, which I'll talk about more in the video that I'm going to post later on. But this is also why, for me, Casper may not get adopted immediately. Maybe not, because it is still an up-and-coming infrastructure. There's still so much more developments going on. There's still so much we need the smart contract to be fully integrated and adopted. We need the stablecoin to come on board as well, which we need the help of Fireside for that, and Copper, which we spoke about and heard about from Mario and Neil even, that I also could post in the video. But these are coming. They are coming. Once they come, you give it time, the adoption comes through, Casper melts faces, as Hans Moog once said. This is my belief, this is my whole strong belief, and it's, while, I don't by any means wish for the downfall, pray for the downfall for any project, and especially those investors who are holding it. So those who are holding Sui and of course saw that, I do feel sorry for you. I do, honestly. But it's also it's why it's so important to understand what it is you're holding. Now, Sui didn't really move off the back of that. This current, look at Sui's price action. It's not coming down nearly as much as Casper is today. And even then, it bottomed down at around, 4% down? So, that's probably the insiders keeping the price up, whatever it may be. Didn't affect it too much, but it is not a good thing to see these sort of issues. And it's meant to be, imagine when you get we're not even at real world adoption just yet. Banks are starting to get involved. Increasingly and quickly, yes, but they're still starting to get involved. What happens when they actually are involved? What happens then? It's a conversation we've got to have. What happens then, So that is something that I think is important to understand, and the current set and the theme for this stream alongside much more. And for reference, if you want to see more premium insights, this is just one of literally hundreds or thousands of .coms we have in my VIP community. You also want to get extra insights in regard to the market dynamics, the trading, how to understand the markets and how to benefit from them, be it for investing in DCA or even just trading. You can learn much more in the VIP. Me and C Crypto there, both doing our respective jobs, trying to help in the understanding and the ways to make money in crypto. If you want to find out more, better prepared for it, level up your investing game and trading game, check out the VIP. You can join for a 7-day free trial right here, get access to information like this and so much more. Learn what the legacy banks and institutes are trying to look into, what they're trying to invest into, giving us a better perception of what we should be investing into as well, be it AI, be it infrastructure tokens that actually, or assets that are actually going to help fix their issues, like Casper. Want to find out for stuff out, check out the VIP, and get tuned into the trade alerts and also the weekly live and so much more. And you can even get a 1-month free trial through BYDFI as well. Links to that are down in our free Discord server. Links to that are down below in the description. Follow steps, reach out to me, let me know, and I'll set you up with that as well. Now, before we get into any more of the content, we have got more to cover. We even got this post here from the KRI, which basically adds more to kind of, not into regards to this document, but talking on BNY Men. And again, we'll get to that in a very short moment. Before we do, once again, welcome back, family, to the channel once again. We got Wire here first this time. Welcome back, my man. And you to LB. Casper is the end game 100%. Just need the real adoption and volume to get us moving forwards. That will come, in my belief. I heard regulations delayed, bearish. Yes, that's also going to be one of the next topic of conversations in this stream as well. Regulations. Well, the next meeting was meant to take place today, and it's been pushed back, and we haven't got a timeline for when yet. rough time meant to be end of January, but I'm not sure that's going to be concrete just yet. And it's because of a big divide between, well, mainly led by Coinbase and against the banks. Although there seems to be still some support from people like Ripple and Kraken in regard to what the banks want, which, touchy one. I don't think it's right of them to do so, but they just want regulators at this point. I don't think they really care about the actual. I think, truth be told, Coinbase probably care a lot more about how crypto should be going forward. While of course, best way to make profit themselves, they want to make profit themselves. I think they have a bit stronger alignment than the likes of Ripple, for example, who just literally just want to have the regulations so they can start pushing XRP to the banks and whatnot, which they claim to be able to do. But yeah, it's bearish for the short term, devious. I think it's fine because it gives us more time to stack while it's down. I'm still hopeful we'll see it. People are still saying hopefully by summer. If we do, that's fine. It's great. Hopefully we see that. If we don't, then that will probably delay any significant volume. I did mention yesterday's stream as well that I think it's still possible Bitcoin can make an all-time high and the market does well this year. I'm hopeful we can still see that in 2026. I think we still can. But the level of volatility and how high we go is definitely dependent on whether we have the Clarity Act, the market structure bill, implemented or not. Without it, Bitcoin, I don't want to give predictions. I can't say for sure, but let's just say for argument's sake, around this zone here, bringing this box that I drew a while back out, probably around here. With it, you can probably see Bitcoin go significantly higher. These are just rough zones. It gets prediction. You can't really tell for sure, but this is my current thesis. What I believe. Without the Clarity Act, you won't see Bitcoin go. Oh, damn. Without Clarity Act, Bitcoin won't go up as high as you possibly want it to, and therefore the market as a whole. But I still think we'll see it this year. I hope. Good evening, Brett. You're doing very, very well. Marching, welcome back. I trust in Sui, not. Yeah. I mean, I had held Sui. Of course, I have sold it all now, but I did hold Sui. I got in way back here, around here, when all the hype was coming through, and it also soared massively. I could have gotten earlier. That's my mistake in that, but got in here, made a 3x. Well, 3x in theory. I did take some profit on the way up, and then I cashed out fully around. It would have been around here. No, actually not. Yeah, I taken some profits up here. I taken the profits around here, and then I cashed out fully around here. So I was still up. So I made my gain from Sui. Happy with that. And then put that profit into either stablecoins or into Casper. Just got my Tangent Pay Visa, Polygon, and USDC early for now. Casper wants VPOGs. Man, that's great stuff, man. Congrats. Glad to see you got the Tangent Pay. And I mean, Casper will come. These Tangent seem to be in close alignment with Casper. We have heard some more stuff. I think it was from Ashton and Casper Door in regards to work taking place with Tangent. It might have been in Chris and Lev's blockchain banter on Monday. There's work going on with Tangent right now, so I'm sure that will be a inevitable next step in the roadmap for Tangent. It's just right now it's not in. I don't think right now it's going to happen. So maybe it is VPOGs that sparks that. Another Solana, indeed, that is another Solana, and people say the next Solana, the better Solana. I can't guarantee that. I think it's just it's another. That's the one thing as well. Eventually, when there's going to be a massive crypto culling, which, in my belief, but spoiler alert, is going to happen, you'll see majority, 99% all being meme coins just go to zero because they have no utility. You're also going to see basically copy and paste projects also go to zero because they offer nothing better or beneficial. So therefore, Solana and Sui, you could very well see one of them, if not both of them, but one of them will probably end up going to zero because they are textbook copy of each other. Well, Sui copies Solana. So which one will be chosen depends on, I guess, a better infrastructure, because as we saw, infrastructure is what really, really matters. So if Sui has got inherently better infrastructure than Solana, Sui will be picked. But I don't think that's necessarily the case right now. I'm waiting for Tangent Pay to come out in Europe. Should be this month, or I hope so. That'd be big, definitely. Welcome back, baby daddy man. It's been a minute. I'm glad to hear it, my man. Sui sucks, but you were Sui Maxi just 5-6 months ago. I wasn't a Sui Maxi. I think, I get the joke. Of course, you're trying to get a bite out of me, and I get it. I completely agree. And I'm going to fall through it. The word Maxi has definitely been coined as, when you talk about any project, you're a Maxi. No. I'm a Casper Maxi, most definitely. Did I hold XRP? Yes. Did I hold Sui? Yes. Did I hold Zebek? Yes. I mean, I do actually still hold Zebek. I bought back in during the dip, but I did sell everything bar Casper. Right now, yes, I am holding other assets. I don't hold XRP or SUI anymore. I wouldn't say I was maxi, but I made my gains in them. XRP, I made 4, 5, 6x in that because I got in around 50 cents. So I'm not going to pay a profit. Same thing with SUI. I made gains in that as well. I got in at $1.80, went up to $5, $6, and of course I took profit on the way up. So I also made 2, 3x on that as well. So Beck, I think I ended neutral in the end because I bought in around. Where did I buy in again? I think I bought in around here. Yeah, I bought in around this zone here. And then I think I ended up selling some at the top here, and then I sold some here, but I think it ended up being around neutral. And then whatever other assets I held as well. We moon yet, not yet Wing Hong, but soon enough, I'm sure. Tangent Pay came out for me today. They reached out to me today, but for some reason I'm having problems KYCing. It says I'm connected to the VPN when I'm not. That's interesting, Banana. I can't say for sure exactly why that's happening. It could be worth trying to reach out to their support and see if they can help you with that, but otherwise I'm not entirely sure. I'm seeing a lot of people saying that my mic is quite low, which I apologize for that. I will try and fix it for tomorrow, and I'll sit closer for today's stream, but I haven't changed anything, and the settings are exactly the same. The mic's is at max. So I don't know why it's acting like that. And even the volume dial on my mic should also be higher. Maybe it's at the back. Give me a sec. So that. Apologies for this. Did that make it a bit louder? Up the gain a little bit. So that might. Only problem with upping the gain, I think it makes background noise a lot easier to hear as well. But that might make my mic a little bit louder. So obviously just got made deaf as well, if that did make it louder. Welcome, Kryptoni Man. Hope you're doing very, very well. And yes, I'm trying to turn it up. Hopefully that fixed it. I appreciate it very, very much, Wing Hong. And we got here as well. Bitcoin going down. Yeah, Bitcoin is doing quite badly right now, but at the same time, it's still within this zone here. So I'm hoping we'll see it get rejected and start making a pushback at the bottom level of. I mean, actually, it is at a level of support right now, around 95.5. But if we see that losing it, which is very, very possible, then we'll probably see it come back to 94k again, which is fine. A chance to potentially take a long trade from there. Sui collapsed 3 times. It is thought that the devs of Sui are from Facebook, another famous platform. Watching Sui collapse 3 times makes you believe how amateur those people are at Sui. I mean, think about how many times Solana's gone down, right? Yeah, pretty much every major project has gone down. Yeah, numerous times. Sui's down 3 times in a span of 3-4 year lifespan. Solana's gone down more times than I can count. Ethereum, same thing. XRP's had a few instances going out as well. I don't know all of them, but I know they come down quite a bit. In that case, then pretty much everyone's an amateur. But at the same time, I have no idea how to create a crypto project. Never looked into it. The infrastructure and tech going into it, they're very, very savvy people. So they might be maybe amateurish in comparison to other. I mean, frankly speaking, I'd imagine most of them are amateurish in comparison to Casper and the devs in Casper. But point being is, yeah, I do agree that it's not a good vote of confidence for Sui, no doubt, despite the fact that Sui is doing okay still. But 3rd time running, apparently, but even then seeing it stall for over 3 hours, it's not good. It's not good at all. And when we look at what these legacy banks want, the likes of BNY Mellon, it's not just them, JP Morgan, BlackRock, Wells Fargo, Morgan Stanley, all these big institutions and banks, what they want is to have a very, very cheap and fast platform where they can do their daily trades and their business on, while also being reliable. The key factor that people are forgetting, reliability also means being interoperable, so you can connect to other people. That's also beneficial, but more importantly, you don't go down. The whole, every time there's a crisis with finance, a cyber attack on finance, markets tank. It's not good. You don't want to have an instance where you're on a chain or a platform which, if that day you decide you want to transact a few hundred trillion, let's just say for argument's sake, everything goes on the XRP ledger, and you got JP Morgan who's transacting 10 to 16 trillion a day, apparently. If you've got that plus everything else, can the XRP ledger handle that sort of volume in a day? Probably not. Quite extortionate, in my belief. So while XRP has, cheap transactions and relatively fast finality, which you could say the same for pretty much every blockchain project, is it reliable enough to not go down? Casper right now is the only one that has not gone down. Granted, it's not been maybe battle tested as much as other protocols have been, but
hopefully with the introduction of stablecoins, that's why I said stablecoins are so important. With introduction of stablecoins through IGRA and Casplex and smart contracts through IGRA and EVM smart contracts through IGRA and Casplex, the batch test nature will come through. You'll see Casper prove itself to be reliable, and that'll be enough incentive for people like BYD to still want to get involved. It's what they want, what they say here. Goldman Sachs as well. Right? It's what they want to get involved in. So it's going to happen. KRI says here, Casper is one of the core missing pieces of global infrastructure, especially as we transition into a newer, bigger, and more complex system. The global trust and sequencing network Casper provides is a beautiful symbiosis. So kind of just, it's kind of the biology term just for kind of atom or a connection, if you will, to my knowledge. But it's true. The truth of the matter being is that Casper is literally the core missing piece that will tie together everything that goes wrong with global finance. The reliability nature of being scalable and cheap, and also decentralized, truly decentralized as well. But yeah, why are we going down? Because Bitcoin's going down. There's not any significant reason for that, apart from the fact that we're still very much in a risk off environment. Although saying that, gold and silver still showing a bit of weakness as well today, but albeit it's not nearly as much. We saw silver come down significantly earlier, now it's come back a bit. So we're back to risk off, basically. Risk on, therefore, is not going to show much strength during this time, typically speaking. It pumped early from VC investors and paid picturers. Yeah, effectively. That's what it made Sui do so well. And that's probably also why Sui's not tanked a lot. Because, when a project goes down, it's not good news. It shouldn't be a vote of confidence for investors either. So the fact that it held up well probably means that there are people who are trying to keep the project up. Sui is way inferior to Solana. I'll take your word for it. I mean, I've seen both of them. I'm just saying that Sui is claimed to be the next Solana. I don't think you're wrong at all. I think Solana's done a lot more and proved itself a lot better than Sui has done. But Sui has been claimed to be the next Solana. And as I mentioned earlier, when it comes to the two competing chains, because they're very, very similar, one will survive and then eventually both will die off, I'm sure. But one will survive because they are copycats and you don't need to do the same thing. They offer anything better. Sui is Garbaggio. I mean, yeah, it's not great to see. Will it still do well this cycle? Probably. Because you've got VCs inside of it. So if you can end up making a bag of that, go for it. Of course, not financial advice, you do as you will. I might end up getting Sui again this cycle, who knows? Make a quick bag of that, maybe a 2-3x if I think it's possible, and then just get out. We'll wait and see. Right now, it's not on my radar, though. Thank you very much, being on again. Yo, Greg, Sui does indeed suck. It does indeed. Welcome back, Double Demon Man. You're doing very, very well. And Esbog says here that I had the same issue with VPN, turn off Wi-Fi and I use mobile data. That made KRC work. Interesting. Well, there you go. The one who was confused with it, which was Banana Republic, looks like that might be the solution for you. So see if that works for you. I'm not. I'm hoping it goes down. Oh, you're hoping that Bitcoin comes down significantly. I mean, maybe it does. Maybe we see Bitcoin return to, back to the sub 90k again, which would definitely spread a lot of fun again. Casper could very well see it return down to this level down here. I do want to believe this was the bottom for Casper. I want to believe it. But Bitcoin shows a lot of weakness and loses 90k, goes down to 87, 84k like it did back here. Then Casper will probably return to 3.6 cents and not a little bit lower. Because right now, Bitcoin's still sucking all the liquidity because it's the biggest asset. We'll have to wait and see though. But if it does, then fine. I mean, I'll DCA again. I'm still wholeheartedly believe this 2026 is going to be a huge, huge year. And this is just one long, big shakeout. We had a 3-month shakeout, basically. Which were only down 30%. Right now, 24, 25%, but 30%, which is a typical corrective behavior. Well, you got it here. I'm waiting for Moon news soon enough. Bitcoin equals vinyl sound is sometimes rough, but not always practical, but timeless, heavy, expensive, slow in charge. But everyone respects vinyl. Ethereum audio, a cassette revolutionary in its time, rewritable, creative, but it gets tangled, it heats up, and sometimes it eats a cost. Solana, stripped, CD theoretically, perfect quality, fast, but jumped as soon as too many people. Cardano equals Sui, mini disc, elegant technology, academic design, long-term vision, loved by this fans, but no one had ever really known what to do with it. And I'm sure then Casper is going to come next soon, which is going to be basically just saying it's perfect. And I'm waiting for that comment. Wait for silver to go up a little bit more and buy some Casper while it's down. We need more luggage on the ship before we moon. Yeah, I'll care to agree. I will care to agree there. And before we wait for Double D's next philosophical statement, which I'm looking forward to, the analogy he's going to make, which I'm sure is going to be. You talked about you went from vinyl to just cassette to CDs. to mini disc, then I'm sure you'll get Casper to be just straight up like SoundCloud audio online, complete everything internet, which I would completely agree with. Now, as we move on, we got some other posts dedicated to Casper right now, which this one, interestingly here, is just a little snippet from Gemini, it looks like, where I'm not going to play the video out because we don't necessarily need to hear it, in my belief, but it's basically just from Gemini. Then the guy's just saying that he has heard of Casper, and in fact, it was his dad who basically asked him, "I've heard about Casper. What do you know about Casper?" And he said, "I've heard about it. I've not looked too much into it. I'll do more research about it." But it looks like Gemini are, courtesy of just word of mouth, and his dad telling him about it. He's like, "Yeah, okay, look into Casper." And then you're asked here, have you contacted Gemini at all right now? KF said that we did contact them about a year ago, but maybe we should revisit that conversation. So that could be big. KF could potentially be getting Gemini in contact as well, which would be very, very big. So we've still got some big exchange listings that are on the horizon that I haven't listed right now. And it's interesting as well, not that I have it preloaded, but you'll hear it in the video that I post later on. One of the big reasons actually why we're seeing still a lack of listing movement for Casper is because Casper's not got integrated with Fireside or Copper, which are, custody platforms, institutional custody grade platforms, which are very, very widely trusted, and they are deemed as necessities by some prerequisites for some institutions to get the asset listed. So some exchanges and stablecoin issuers, they don't want to list anything without the integration of Fireside and or Copper. And Casper has not got that yet. Wolfie apparently has been speaking to them, or has spoken to them for some time. I don't think that anything more has happened with that recently, but if we could get Fireside and Copper, that would be a big, 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 massive catalyst in the sense of more adoption will come through quite quickly. Because according to Rory, and you're going to hear it again in the video that I post later on, he said that he has had confirmation from multiple exchanges they want to list Casper, but they don't feel confident without the Fireside, because it's their law, if you will. They need to know that the asset they're trying to list or adopt has got Fireside and Copper integrated into and working alongside them. So that's something to take into account. So hopefully, if anything, if we want to be, we shouldn't need to be pushing to Gemini or to Binance or Coinbase. What we should really be pushing is Fireside, because Fireside will open up the massive adoption bubble, if you will, that would let everything come to Casper as well. That is interesting to see in itself there. In other news, ZellaSwap announced that Casplex has now hit 10 million blocks, which is a big milestone, big achievement. So builders still pushing on Casper right now, which is great. Since launching the Casplex, we have become the go-to DEX on the network, leading activity with $2.7 million plus in total volume and 41,100 plus swaps so far, which, considering everything so far, that's quite impressive. So that's great stuff to see. Hopefully we'll see it continue going forward. Equally, seeing another update from the ecosystem, we've got KFC, Casper Finance here, who said the finally the news you've been waiting for. Friday, 1 p.m. UTC, so that is tomorrow, marks an important moment for us. The bridge is fully audited. Market conditions are stabilizing. KFC public sale is going to be going live, which is pretty big news for them as well. So can't wait to see more about that. And then also another update as well. I did see Cody was a bit haphazard about this, which I understand why. We've seen about UEX. We spoke about it a while back. Casper Silver highlighted it as well. Another platform in the United States, but they just announced now that they're actively growing a Casper community. I think they're safe. Of course, I'm not in America, so you Americans check out for yourself and be very careful, of course. But they said that they're growing the community. Casper Trading responsible for roughly 5% of all volume. So they're pretty much what makes them successful. Money seems to be Casper volume right now. 3 million per month in Casper trade, which is pretty big. On ramp and off ramp with Zeal, PayPal, credit card, and Bankwire, so we could do that now. Trade Casper with low fees and fast executions. Earn 3.5% APY on Casper and savings, no lockup. Borrow against Casper up to 9% instantly, and swap Casper across 21 crypto and fiat pairs. Of course, be very careful with this sort of stuff, because this is kind of how many people have been caught out. Be it leveraging up their Casper, leaving it on exchanges can lead to risk. So if you want to participate in that sort of stuff, by all means go for it. But if you want to just hold your Casper, then have a cold storage for that. Keep it off exchanges, the safe thing to do there. But we are seeing the adoption of Casper continue to grow more and more on the belief as well, which is always reassuring stuff to see right now. In CMC's chart right now, we see Casper is currently at 58. 1.2 billion market cap, volume down to 26.2, down 22% on the 24-hour chart. Nothing too crazy to see there right now. The markets aren't doing fantastic, as shown from the bubbles here. IP has been one of the biggest ones that have been rallying recently. IP USDC. The story protocol here, we can see it's done an incredible run up. Pretty much like every other thing, it did a massive run up and it's come straight back down. Pretty much an ICP scenario then, from what I can tell. We saw that happened to ICP not that long ago either. That massive run up here, straight back down, and it looks like we're starting to do that kind of move again as well. It's how currently the markets are behaving, how the game's running right now. You've got some performers that are doing okay. Hey, this MKR. You got TRX, Tron's doing okay today, but nothing really is of note. So we'll see how the markets behave going forward. But with Bitcoin showing some weakness now, of course, the markets are coming down with it as well. Continuous flow, block DAG, almost instantaneous, purpose, native scalability without Rustine, simple, raw, efficient, while others are still wondering which disk to use. And quantum computing with unlimited qubits. Like it. I agree. I agree. But yeah, truth be told, family, that does actually conclude all the information side of things for today's stream. As we look at the market chart, I think we could see Bitcoin continue to see some weakness coming back down. So you could see, therefore, Casper continue to show some weakness. I would hope that we finish today's trading day above 4.5. Right now we are, which is reassuring. Go back to the hourly. We can see it's managed to make some pushes above that. So we could finish above here in the trading day. That'd be good. And therefore means that Casper might start to hold its ground around here, potentially. And otherwise then, if we do see Bitcoin showing more weakness, I think it's possible. You could then set up potentially another short trade, although it'd be probably a bit more risky at this point to see us come down to the bottom level here, which would be another, potential 8% move. Of course, with leverage a bit higher. Of course, do your own research and be careful for leverage. As always, have your stop losses in play as well, so you don't get liquidated. But Bitcoin showing strength again, then against a long opportunity here, we see Casper potentially make a return up to 4.8 right now. If I had taken the trade yesterday, which I highlighted yesterday, that for me was a very, very textbook setup. That I would have easily cashed out on that one, made all the money and more. Right now, I'll probably hold off just in case, because the markets are kind of in a position of unknown, with Bitcoin hovering in the middle and not at a key level of support or resistance right now. It's harder to tell whether the market's going to be pushing up or down from here. So it'd be a bit more, the possibility and win to loss possibility here would be harder to calculate. But I'm sure you'll see the scenario play out soon enough as well. And then we'll talk about the next setup for Casper when I see it as well. If you want to find out more, once again, get extra insight into trading and market dynamics and everything else as well. Again, the alpha documentation, the premium insights, the weekly live streams, and much more, and even take part in the trades going on with Lambo there, VIP as well. Check it out. Links are down below in the description. All that stuff as well. With that being said, family, that will conclude today's stream. If you enjoyed, as always, leave a like, share, and subscribe for more. We've got a lot coming still in this space. Don't let the markets affect you too much. Price volatility is a distraction. Still important, but it's a distraction of what's taking place right now. Is the building, which is coming. We've got some huge alpha, huge stuff coming for Casper this first quarter 2026. And the video that I'm going to post in the next couple of hours will prove that as well. So that being said, have a great day, good evening, good night. Check out the socials, and I'll see you all